Yo, what's going on guys? This is the build that I'll be using for today's video. Most of the video is going to be me solo, and I'll usually just be third-partying people or just taking 1v1s. Now to start off, I'm 1v1ing this DASP player, and I actually don't mind fighting DASPs on the Pikno as long as they're not running the sharp bite. That way I still have mobility. But yeah. Anyway, this guy popped his rampage, so I just decided to disengage and get away and let that rampage go off, as that's going to give him a big buff if I have put him low enough. But yeah, so I just waited for the rampage to wear off and then I got back right into the fight. Now I messed up there and used the head slam while behind the guy. I should have known that he was just going to tail hit me away and the head slam was going to miss. So yeah, that was a mistake on my part. But either way, I managed to precise taunt out and take minimal damage and kill the guy. But yeah, moving on, I now am at Assault Flats and I start helping this Kilo fight this Pycno. And this Pycno is a part of a bigger group in Salt Flats that consists of a Cerato, 2 Rexes and a Tyrannotine also, which you don't see yet, but you're going to see when it comes around. All of them are going to appear. So at first I obviously didn't know this, so it was just these 2 guys. I obviously seen the Rexes earlier, but they just walked off into the distance. I'm not sure where they went. But either way, I wanted to take care of the Cerato first, as he can bone snap me and potentially get me killed by the other Apexes. So yeah, you can also see there's a few other things here, a few small stuff that are actually going to help out, and there's going to be random hatsies trying to pick people off, just usually clamp stuff. This footage here was a while ago. This was before the change to the Pikno, and in the first half of the video the Pikno is going to be at 1100 movement speed, and then later on you're going to see it 1075, as they have nerfed the movement speed of the Pikno. Now I don't know how I really feel about that. I think it is a good change because the Pikno is really strong and it is really big. Yet it did have a speed of 1100, the exact same as a conch. Also has braced legs with insane stamina. So yeah, I can see why they put it down, to put it in check with everything else, since everything else did get a lot of their speeds put down a while back in one of the updates. But yeah, either way, it is like 20 from 1100 to 1075 isn't that big in a sense, but it is because now you're slower than a conch and you're only 25 faster than Apache, yet you're the same as a Meg. And I feel like the Megs are the hardest part for Pycnos, because Megs are very small and you're very tall, so a lot of the time you miss hits and sometimes you need to get distance. So if you're not fighting uphill or downhill, it can be a really big problem getting away from Megs. Obviously you've still got that charge, but it uses a lot of stamina. So yeah. But yeah, moving on, you can see these guys have got the Titans here, the Rex and the Pycno. Now I'm already pretty low, so I just have to be very careful on what I go for, but either way I got some chip damage in, and the other smaller things actually end up killing the Pycno, so that was really nice. But after this I'm pretty sure I just died. So yeah. Now moving on, this is like the only part where I'm actually grouped up with a friend. He's on the Metri, I'm on the Pikno. And we're fighting an Albert. Alberts are really strong, but this guy wasn't very good. And he was just pre-doing his block, so I just waited for his block to go away and then I would hit him with a head slam. Obviously he would hit me with his one, but I have a Metri here at any point. I can get heal calls, so it literally doesn't matter. I'm willing to trade with this guy. But you're going to see I actually end up winning this fight. Metri didn't really do anything, as the Alberta was really just blocking everything that the Metri was hitting at him. So yeah. But moving on, I got into GP here and I started fighting these patches. I'm pretty sure I saved someone earlier. I think it was like a different metri, I think, was getting jumped by all of these guys. And I just decided to help him out. Now, I'm not sure where the metri went, he did disappear. But yeah. Now, this isn't a hard matchup, but it can be a little bit difficult because there's so many targets to focus on. Obviously, they don't do a lot of damage, but it's still just a lot of targets to focus on. And also, you can see a different metric comes around, and now all of a sudden, so I pulled back on that head slam because I thought this metric was going to help the carnivore instead of the herbivores, but it turns out he was trying to kill me, and I shouldn't have pulled back that head slam. But yeah, either way, so I could have got a lot of damage on the metri. I didn't, but it is what it is. I did kill one Pikno and I ended up getting away, but yeah, killed the patch and not the Pikno. Now, I got really lucky that other random Pikno actually helped me out. That was really nice. So yeah, I actually teamed up with this guy, and these guys, while I was away, they actually killed all the other stuff that was there, the patches, and they also killed the metri from before. This is a completely different metri and a random Serato. Now, I'm focused on the Serato as it's a pretty easy fight for me, considering they nerfed the Serato by quite a bit, by like 100 HP since the last update, which is pretty big. I'm kind of surprised they did that, but it does make sense considering everything else that they nerfed. I feel like the only thing it doesn't make sense is, well, I mean, I guess you are free slot as a Pikno, so it does, so that is fine. But yeah, moving on. We're kind of just ping-ponging this guy around and he's having a hard time. Not really much you can do, but yeah. Now, I did end up falling off a cliff at some point here, so that was the end of that. Now here I 1v1 another Dasp, and once again I use that headbutt to knock him away, and he ends up missing a lot of like heavy bites, which is really helpful. And that head slam also just does an insane amount of damage. Also, if this guy's running the, actually it doesn't matter what skills he uses because we're the same weight, so it's absolutely fine what skills he uses. That was really fast. I'm surprised I killed the guy that fast. But yeah, now moving on. I was fighting this Meg at Savannah, and he just like didn't really, like, he was trying to fight back but he just couldn't. I think he was struggling a lot with the headbutt and the knockback because it does really get annoying and it resets people. It just bounces you around the whole entire place. But yeah, now I'm going to spoil this right now, but I do end up killing this Meg, and this dude chases me for like 30 minutes across Savannah, Hunter's Thicket, Snake Gully, and then yeah, it was crazy though. He brought a Titan and stuff and they just couldn't kill me, and I just left. But yeah, killed the guy right before he got in the hole, so yeah, very nice. Also did get the trophy and gave it to this baby Titan, but I don't think he knew what he was doing. So now I did get really low on food, and I just had to go for it, and I just headbutt this Pycno and Dasp. And once again you can see me use that headbutt to my advantage, and just hit him back when he used his head slam, but I also missed my own, so yeah. But I did get one free hit on him. Also, I'm surprised that head slam hit. It was like barely on the edge of my tail, yet my head slam didn't hit. Kinda crazy, but it is what it is. Also, you can see the subspecies that I'm using. I'm using +3 attack damage. This guy's using plus 15% knockback. So I'm going to be able to win this fight when it comes to a face fight, as I do a little bit more damage than he does, and I'm pretty sure he probably is using like Juggernaut, whereas I'm not. And in a face fight where you don't move a lot, he is missing out on 5% damage. So yeah, just works in my advantage. I get the kill and I just end up running away and make my way back to GP. Now here I seen some conks fighting a Rex and an Aloe, and I decided to help the conks, as if I did fight the conks they would just get in the water, so there was no point. Also, it's not that, I think it's a pretty hard fight for the conks, considering these patches also were helping the Rexes, or the Rex and the Aloe. So yeah, I just decided to help the conks to try and win this fight. And it can be pretty hard to just focus the Rex right now, as there's a lot of small things around that could take advantage if I get low, so I need to just focus the patches first. That way I can start fighting maybe the Rex or even the Aloe, depending on what's the situation. But yeah, now these guys aren't really doing much damage, but you're gonna see patches love to cliff bait, and I actually threw this one off the cliff, and I thought the conk was right beside me. I didn't know that it was the patchy right there, and I was so close to falling off that cliff, but I got really lucky, and there was an extra ledge, and I ended up just getting back up. So that was really lucky and really nice too, because that would have been really annoying. I really did think that a conker was right beside me, and it ended up being the other patchy, and he tried to kick me off. But either way, both of these guys got pretty low, and they just end up getting on top of a rock. Now the Aloe kept chasing me, and now this is a different Rex also chasing me. And you're going to see these guys end up getting ambushed by two Rexes, which are just completely randoms. It's kind of how it is in GP, it's a free-for-all. And yeah, I mean, obviously there are still bigger packs that are in a Discord group, but a lot of the time it's just a bunch of random players all just teamed up. But either way, they killed the other Rex really easily, as it is a 2v1 as an Apex. You're pretty dead. And they also put the Aloe pretty low for me, so I just hit the charge and got out of there, as I didn't want to get bone snapped. Now this is the Rex I was fighting first, that was with the Aloe, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, and I was helping the conks again. Now you're gonna see the patches end up coming back very soon here to help this Rex, and those Rexes that you seen earlier, they're also going to show up to help the Rex, which I was kind of surprised about. I honestly thought this Rex was gonna be dead meat, because the Rexes killed the other Rex, so this guy must have been friends with those Rexes here. Or maybe they seen that 4 conks and a Pikno were fighting this Rex and they just didn't want to kill him, which that could be fair too. But yeah, in a second here you're going to see the patches end up showing up too. So this fight ends up getting very dangerous, because because patches are very similar in speed at 1050, and they can also have brace legs that can be a big problem. So that's the thing. And I also just can't stop in place to use my precise stun often, because I might get killed by one of the Rexes or even bone snapped, which would be really bad. So yeah, or even just hit one time and put half HP. That would also be tragic. But yeah, so main thing here is try and get distance, but I also just hate letting these little guys just tail ride me the whole time. So that just gets very annoying, and I'm obviously trying to defend myself as much as I can while keeping distance from the Rexes. Now, when the Rexes, you can see like the Rex is right there, so I do have to be careful. I'm not over exaggerating or anything like that. So, but I do get in that hit on the patchy, and his friend also hits him, which ends up resulting in their friend dying because of their mistake. And I actually do end up getting away, because that whole time, even though I was running, I was also getting a lot of stamina back, because I would occasionally have to stand in place while having my 150% increased stamina recovery from second point, which just gives it insane survivability compared to a lot of dinos, even the patchy, that can run a very far distance. But either way, these guys end up finding me. I put damage on, one of them runs away, the other one's trying to keep me here, and I just hadn't, like, there was no point. The other patch is not here yet, but you're gonna see I just put damage on this guy and he just ends up running away because the other one is just distracting me. and I didn't want to just chase and get tail ridden, so there was no point. So I tried to fight this guy, he wouldn't fight, so I just end up running away and leaving the fight, as there's just no point. It's a big risk, so I just left.